Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well this morning. I hope you are good. Hey, Fannie Faye Davis. Good morning. Hope you are grand. Know that I've been praying for you this morning. Hope that there's goodness in your morning. Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. A little United Way mug up this morning after our time supporting the United Way out on in the bioreserve. What a beautiful weekend that was on this Saturday. The kickoff event for United Way and their opportunity to begin to work on their funding year. Some beautiful and just a great things. Thank you for everybody in the church who came out and everybody who volunteered. Good morning. Hey, Vicki. Good morning. Thank you. Thanks for volunteering, Vicki. That was awesome. It was such a good day. Hey, Karen. Good morning to you. Good morning, Donna. Hope you're having a grand morning. And as the beauty of the world begins to set in here, I had some friends in town this weekend. My friend Matt and his wife Coda that I did Camino with and got the opportunity to share and break bread with him. And we got just taking them up to the airport. They were just seeing the foliage on 24 and in through there as you make the turn into Boston. Just the world is beginning to come alive down in this part of the world and in the beauty of the season. So welcome everybody. Hey, Sharon Landry, good morning to you. I hope you are grand and good. So let's get going this morning. It is the 21st day of October on this Tuesday at 11:11, and I am glad you're with us. Know that you will be prayed for today. I will pray for. It is always my practice that when we conclude this, I will pray for anybody that hears this message, and so that whether you hear it now live with us, whether you're hugging it out with us in our little digital sphere right now, or whether you are down you are many times from now listening to this. Or just in finding this on the mysteries of the interwebs, that know that you have been lifted up to the one who made you. So this morning, this is the 21st day of October, a very exciting day in the world of, well, it's really in the world of cinema, but in the world of time travel, because it was this day, October 21st, 1985, that Marty McFly took Doc Brown's DeLorean into the past and traveled back to where? November 5th, 1955. So we have to remember. So he goes 30 years into the past, from 1985 back into 1955, and how strange and wondrous and different he thought the world was. And here we stand 40 years on, longer than even his trip, from the time in which Marty McFly went into the past. We have exceeded that future by 10 years. But this is Time Travel Day, this October 21st. And this is the day that we have gone back to the future. And it's one of the great fantasies of, everybody I think ends up playing it at some point in terms of history, in terms of I was even listening to one of my more favorite history podcasts recently, and the question came up among, and these are like big kind of highfalutin, super smart historians, and they asked that question, like, what time would you have liked to live in? What time would you have liked to be able to time travel to and maybe grown up in and been a part of? Like what time and how strange would it would it have been? Would you have been kind of among the time of knights of old? Would you have been part of the time? Now I don't personally, and I thought this was a brilliant answer. They went around the table and some people had some really interesting kind of things about what they wanted to see with the Grand Armada or whatever, but the one I love the most is like, I don't want to live any time without good dentistry. Like, in many ways, we are living in the very best of times, because up until about, well, Marty McFly's at time, and even 1955, dentistry wasn't what it was now. But for the vast majority of history, you had Doc Holliday as your dentist. That was, if you don't know, a little fun history fact, Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp's sidekick, the guy with the mustache. Uh, his greatest effort was, his real profession was that of a dentist, and that most of it has been. And I thought that was a brilliant answer. Like, I don't, so the window gets really short. I don't want to live in any time without good dentistry. Like, that's legit. Like, or maybe without antibiotics. So there's wonders and beautiful things about living in the era in which we do live. But it's always one of that fantastical ideas, right? About, if you had Marty McFly's time machine, if you on this, what 30 years would you go in? And that whole conversation reminds me of kind of one of the what it is what it is God calls us to in terms of our relationship to the times in which we find and with the times in which we are. And it reminds me of one of the great quotes around that, which comes from the book of Esther. So Esther lived in ancient Persia, about 100 years after the Babylonian captivity. So they're kind of working with the Persians in the company of Xerxes. And one day that Xerxes has this big party. And on the final day of the festivity, he calls the queen, and eager to kind of show her off because she was beautiful, but the queen refused to appear before Xerxes. So he got all angry, and he deposed Vashti, threw her out. Like, you might be pretty, but if you won't come out and present for our guests, then he had a royal beauty pageant. So he looked at all, and he looked at all the young ladies, and he picked his new queen, Queen Esther. Esther becomes queen, and now Esther is Hebrew. But she's not Persian. But Xerxes was taken with her beauty, and so her cousin Mordecai is given this little position to kind of help her out in the court, and so she becomes the new queen. Mordecai, however, discovers, and this is one of those great intrigue stories of the Bible. Mordecai discovers that there's this assassination plot against the king, and he tells Esther about this conspiracy, and she reports it to Xerxes because she's the queen, and it's going to work out. And she says, Mordecai told me that there's going to be this attempt in your life, and so the plot is thwarted, and Mordecai is rewarded for his act, and in kind of great stories are told about him, however, this gets the ire of this guy called Haman. Now, Haman's another official in the court. This is all court intrigue stuff. Did you know the Bible was this fun? That all this court intrigue stuff, and in the moment, and so Haman is like, well, I'm just not going to get rid of Mordecai. I'm going to get rid of all the Jews in Persia. That's it. Like, we're gonna put him to death. And so so he gets the king's ear, because he kind of blames the possible attempt on his life to the Jews, and so those were the guys that he kind of whispers, those were the guys that were going to kill you, so we should get rid of them. And so Xerxes agrees, and so Mordecai, however, learns of this plot too, and he tells Esther. And then there's this is the great quote that comes from if you ever hear the book of Esther quoted, it is this that you'll hear, and it is this notion. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. that perhaps you were made beautiful, Esther. Perhaps you were the one who looked good in the swimsuit for Xerxes. Perhaps you were the one that for whom the Lord made bitter Vashti's heart, so she didn't come out, and she made Xerxes mad, so that all the things conspired for Esther to become queen, so that she could save the people. And so Esther urges them to pray and to fast for deliverance, and the Jews to kind of what's going on, and risking her own life, Esther approaches the king with a request, and she invites Xerxes and Haman to a banquet, and where eventually she reveals that she is in fact a Hebrew, that she actually that this had always been kind of undercover, and she reveals to the king that of her Jewish heritage, and that the king decides to kill everybody, he's going to have to kill her too. And as well, so and then she also at the same time exposes Haman's diabolical plot, and Xerxes sees what was actually going to happen, that the whole thing was so that it was not only to get rid of the Jews, but also to get rid of Queen Esther. That was Haman's real motivation. And so so Haman ends up being hung at the gallows because of Esther's courage and naming of that which the treachery that was in their midst. So, and then Mordecai goes on to a high position, and the Jews are granted protection in all the land, and happily ever after. So that's the great story of Esther. So, but that line, and I think this to me is the whole point of the story of Esther. Is not that we need to be sneaky and treacherous, not that we need to work on, but the whole point is this question, this verse that ends with a question mark. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. For such a time as this. The fantasies of Marty McFly getting in his DeLorean and going 30 years in the past, and meeting his mom and thinking she's cute, and all the weird stuff that happens in that. It's such a creepy movie if you really think about it. It's like, ew. There's all this intrigue and all these things that are going on, and in all of it, that this yearning kind of for another time and another place, this kind of how another time or another place would be really interesting, or another time or another place would be fascinating, or another time or another place would have knights of old, another time or another place would be better than the one in which I am in. But the reality is that wherever you are and however you are and wherever you are, you're placed, whatever you are facing, whatever challenge you are carrying, whatever cross you are carrying, whatever wound you are nursing, whatever ailment you are bearing, you have been appointed to your royal position for such a time as this. That is yours to carry. That this is ours to endure, and this is ours to expose the treachery of our world, to expose the things that would beat us down, to expose the things that would try to destroy us, to dare to bring to the King, to dare to bring to Jesus Christ. This is what Xerxes is the symbol of, and this thing is that to dare to bring to Christ the things that would seemingly destroy us, the things that would seemingly bring us despair, the things that would seemingly confuse us, the things that would seemingly let us lose our way and have our Father's family perish. Let us not be quiet in these days, but let us understand that we, as sons and daughters of the Most High, are appointed to the royal position that you are in this hour, in this moment, for such a time as this. And so the world needs you to expose your beauty. The world needs you to expose your true identity of who and whose you are as a child of God in its midst. It needs you to tend to the people whom God have given you to love, and to reach out and to hold them and to nourish them and to lift them up. That the treachery of our days is the things that would come to destroy us the whispers in the corners that would tell us that we are exiled or other or abandoned or even persecuted by the Lord in heaven, by the one who made us, is a lie of the devil. Friends, my hope for you in these days, in this hour, in this moment, is that you will take up your royal position, that you will take up this grand and wondrous time that God has given you right here and right now, right at this moment, right at 11:27 on this Tuesday, the 21st of October, 2025. This place that God has placed you, and that you will let your beauty shine in the true identity of who and whose you are. Peace and grace to you, my friends, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11.